the Vikings would wind down their year and winter was looming, they would celebrate the second to last of their bloat sacrifices, and that would be called Veternatur. It's also called Winter Nights. It's a specific time of the year in medieval and pre-Christian Scandinavia. It's often referred to as the 3 days which begin the winter season. Nowadays, it's usually celebrated around October 31st, and it's seen as the veil between the worlds is thinner during this night. Today, Winter Nights festivals are held across Scandinavia, Germany, and are marked by bonfires, tournaments, feasts, arts, and crafts. But originally, it was far less sedate. So the celebrations focused on divination, seeing omens to predict the hardships of the coming year. Female sorcerers and seers were probably very busy. Should one want the powers of divination, they needed only to sit on a grave throughout an entire night during the Veternatur. This person was then thought to be tormented by visions and spirits as they made their attempt. Some say they could be driven to madness. But it was believed that if someone could actually sit through this torment without losing their sanity, they'd be granted many supernatural powers. Of these, they gained great insight not only into their own future, but the future of others and of their environment, and to be able to predict personal outcomes and possible harvests in the future. Costumes were not really part of Winter Nights festivities back then, of Veternatur, but we do have evidence that masks were used. But instead of frightening the spirits of the dead away, the feast was a time to celebrate kinship with the living and the dead. To me, it seems more of a Day of the Dead type of relationship than our current Halloween practice. It was more a time to get to know your ancestors, to get closer to them, to possibly get guidance from them. There was also a great reverence for the land spirits, especially the elves. I think that All Souls Day is very similar to the intentions of Veternatur. Also, after Veternatur, the Vikings would begin the wild hunt. It lasted until the return of spring, and would be the time that Odin would ride through the lands, hunting for various prey, and taking anyone who saw him along on the ride. Anybody who was caught up in this wild hunt, lighting up the long winter nights as they crossed the heavens. And some of the ceremonies held in Veternatur were also dedicated to the Valkyrie, who would ride with Odin alongside the others swept up in the wild hunt. The Valkyrie, who were the embodiment of the forces of life and death, were among those honored in these ceremonies. It was to serve two functions: to thank the goddesses for blessing the harvest, and to ensure the next year's would be good or better. So, like I brought up the Day of the Dead, people differ on whether it has indigenous pre-Hispanic roots or is a more modern adaptation of European tradition, which would also be Viking, because similar traditions are also traced back to medieval Europe. Current depictions of the festivity have more in common with the Danse Macabre, which is also called the Dance of Death, where people would dress up as corpses. Similarities between the two and the Day of the Dead in Mexico could be because of its Spanish origins. During this Veternatur, this Halloween, this October 31st, remember and honor your ancestors. Remember where you came from. Find out more about where you came from. And just as in the Day of the Dead, maybe light a candle for them, as the Vikings would light bonfires, that the Danse Macabre comes for us all.